Hello, and welcome back to the LP.
Oh,
Things are about to explode.
hell yeah. They give you like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's so
Sometimes
much
I think
time.
that it's such an absurd amount of time to give you. It's like,
It is.
I remember when I first played this game, I was freaking out like, I only have 10 minutes to get out of here.
Yeah,
I get out and it's like 7 minutes, like, or 8 minutes left. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I know, I used to,
It,
like,
it does seem to be a reasonable amount of time for an actual, like, evacuation of a facility, but as for a, retributory, explosive, thing, it seems overkill.
Yeah.
basically, the first time I played...
Maybe they're doing it for people who don't notice Jesse down there on the bottom and they're running around like, how the fuck do I get out of here?
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. So if you don't get Jessie, you can't get out the doors, so you can't really
Yeah.
leave her there. You have to go back and then get her.
I remember the first time I ever played, I did go rusty here because I'm like, oh, I feel sorry for her. And then I've heard other people who were all like they wanted to like ditch her or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
poor Jessie, you just gonna leave her there?
It's every man for himself.
I liked in Final Fantasy VIII their system of like you could pick how much time you need. It wouldn't really work here, but on the fire cavern,
Oh, yeah.
and then
The real trick to the fire cavern is not how much time you need. The real trick is how much time you have left. And the real trick is to win the fight quickly and then just hang on the naming screen. Because you've won, but the game is still counting down. And even if it counts down to 0, you can't lose because you've already won. But because you have 0 time left, you get the maximum rank.
Very cool. I guess if I ever get around to playing Final Fantasy VIII again, which I probably won't, I'll give it a try.
It's really, really easy to break 8. And, that probably should have flash fried them all, considering how much flame is pouring out of there.
Yeah.
They're fine.
I mean, granted, it is only 3 pixels, or 3 frames worth of flame, but still, it's very large pixel frames.
Love this. Oh.
Yay! I like how there's pandemonium everywhere and everything is wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just gonna, like, well, she asked what happened first, but then she's like, oh, do you want to buy a flower?
The cars are flipped over.
Time to
Yes,
make the
I
sale.
know there's a car upside down behind me, but would you like to buy a flower?
This is what is known as high-pressure sales tactics.
it's really interesting seeing this in Crisis Core.
But yeah, so,
Yeah.
guy with a suit, distinctive red mop. That's why people think it's Reno.
But considering the fact that he's a Turk, why would he be like, what the hell's going on? You think that a Turk would...
Well, it is Reno.
Yeah.
He doesn't... He's smarter than that, though. I mean, I know that in the movie they kind of made him like a doofus, but in the original game he really kind of wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
No, it's not, well, the thing is, it's not that the Turks are idiots, but they are very sort of perception filter, like, this is not my problem.
Yeah.
So he's not, he was focused on whatever the hell he was doing, and that's all he cares about, because that's what he's on the clock for.
Yeah.
I see. I suppose that could make
That's
sense.
true.
They're very...
Nicholas Cloud being badass, woohoo, I'm riding
I
the
mean,
train.
because, spoilers, later on in the game, there's, oh yeah, we're off the clock right now.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. Now we're like, oh, he never made it. I do have to wonder how these people made it to the train, but Cloud was the one who got cornered.
Well, they split up, so who knows?
Cloud took the time. He did a little window shopping. He had a nice baguette. Freshened up.
He's not actually. He's not very inconspicuous with that sword on his back.
Wearing a soldier uniform and his big blonde spiky hair.
It's like, let me in.
They actually mistook him for a wild chocobo. They weren't trying to catch him for the reactor incident. They were trying to return him to the local petting zoo.
Oh, Barret is so worried.
Leaky, did you not see me swing down? That's not a waltz.
Like how it's S-H-I''T.
Yeah, that's pronounced shit. What the shit you doing?
I quite like these fixed backgrounds. I know people sort of ragging with it, but they have a charm
I like
to
them because it's nostalgic. I'm like, come on, that's Final Fantasy.
I like it because it's actually very cinematic.
Yeah.
It literally is the backdrop as opposed to the background.
Yeah. Yeah, and they can light it whatever way they want instead of like it being bland and whatever. A lot of these NPCs, they sort of reappear throughout the game. Like instead of making new characters, they just sort of drop one in.
Yeah, it's probably easier. Maybe it takes up less space on the disc.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely does.
Yeah.
The question is, where does recycling NPCs stop being a callback and just start being lazy?
That's
well,
true.
they actually use is it Wedge or Biggs? He sort of appears in the Gold Saucer, dressed in his little schoolboy outfit.
Oh yeah, that.
I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Neither did I.
He survived the incident the entire time, changed his name, and tried to start a new life.
I always like this part because you can see like their heads, and it's just kind of it amuses me that their heads are there like that.
Yeah.
$150,000 scale. I really ought to try and figure out the actual.
We tried
like,
once.
Yeah. Well,
it's 1/10,000th to scale.
I have no idea.
And it's 50 meters. Something. I forget what she said. And we tried.
it's
That's
around
like
50 meters. Yeah.
Around across 50 meters.
Yeah, so it's around 50 meters, not from the ground to the top of the plate, but from the ground to the bottom of the plate, which gives us a bare minimum.
There we go. Let's go walk and never know what kind of creeps are going to come out.
Never mind that we're those creeps, but
Come out of where?
the woodwork, of course.
Flirt with her. Looking forward to it. Yay!
Alright, so that's -3 for you on Tifa.
Oh, sucks.
No, you're trying to go for the, well, you've gone for the Earth Date, but you're trying to get to high when I'm trying to count up this time to see if you've got the requisite number of points. And if you can make the... At the moment, you're only at 27, so you give her the flower, I think you did, that gets you a +5. Next to you, that's another +5. You might still be well on track. It depends.
Sure.
If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. That's the way I feel. Destiny will get us there. It's fate.
No, it's arbitrary mechanics, which is basically the same thing.
No one lives in the slums because they want to.
Except for crazy old man Jenkins. He's not all there.
And here we go.
And we'll come to the end of the video.
And this we could actually scale off of properly.
Nice. Oh, see you next time.
Yep, later.